Here today at Rock Island Auction Company, we have not one, not two, but three incredible early black powder era machine guns. A few of which are the type I never thought I would witness in person. But I never say never here. Right in the middle here next to me, we have what you are probably wondering, what is this 10-barrel monster? This is a Nordenfeldt 10-barrel volley gun. These were invented originally by Helge Palmkrantz, a Swedish inventor in the late 1860s into the 1870s, and this was financially backed by Thorsten Nordenfeldt. These are known to be in 2 all the way through 12-barrel variations, and here we have a 10-barrel one. Now, Rock Island has never been able to offer a 10-barrel Nordenfeldt, so this is likely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be able to acquire something like this. What a special piece, what a special opportunity. I'm just honored to be in the presence of this thing. I'm just gushing over this gun. I can't contain my excitement over it. Next to me on my right, I have a Gardner serial number 1 single barrel variation. Now, some of these were also offered in 2-barrel, multi-barrel variations. This one is marked number 1. It's the only single barrel, once again, that we have ever offered at Rock Island Auction for sale. This is just an unbelievable opportunity to be able to acquire something like this. I mean, I'm just thrilled to be next to this thing. This is like the titan of early military weaponry right here next to me. Looking at the internals of this thing, it's like looking at a watch. The mechanics of it are wonderful. It kind of reminds me of like a crankshaft in an automobile engine, the way it functions. And to my left, the third example we have here, this is a Gatling Model 1883. So the Gatling system, the genesis of it, started in the Civil War era with the 1862 Gatling. And it evolved through a couple iterations until it got to this, the 1883, and continued on through the smokeless era. But this 1883 example is a beautiful piece to have. This is one of my favorite in terms of looks of all the Gatling models. It has that big brass housing. It's just shiny, it's attractive. It's made to help cover it from the elements. So it has those rotating barrels in there, and they're all protected from sea spray. These would have been used on naval ships. The Army used them, as were these type of guns that I'm standing next to as well, the Gardner and the Nordenfeldt. These saw naval use, they saw Army use. The Gardners here, I'll get into a little background on the Gardner itself. It's an American inventor, William Gardner of Toledo, Ohio, invented these. And this example follows his earliest patent design. It's about 1874 or so. He went on to take his design overseas to the British. He started manufacturing these over there. There were some also manufactured here in the US by Pratt & Whitney. The British Royal Navy took a liking to these. They also took a liking to the Nordenfeldt. So the Royal Navy used stuff like this, like the Nordenfeldt, and early Gardner guns like this. They had a small quantity of them. After their use, I mean, many of these, as you imagine, were out seeing naval use. They were out exposed to the elements, salt. So surviving examples today are next to non-existent. It's just impossible to come across these unless you're going to a high-end museum somewhere across the world in Europe. But here in the States, these just do not exist. So these opportunities, when they present themselves and you're an advanced weapons collector, this is your shot. This is your shot to get some of the pinnacles of early machine gun evolution. We get Gatlings occasionally. We do not get Gardner guns. We do not get Nordenfeldts. But Gatlings, I say occasionally, they're still hard to come by. So all three of these guns are something that every military collector should have. These are before smokeless powder came into, say, widespread use in militaries across the world. This Nordenfeldt here, every time a lever is pulled on this, it shoots 10 shots at once. It has a gravity-fed magazine here where bullets sit in 10 columns, and each time you pull that lever, 10 rounds drop in, they go. The British Royal Navy tested one just like this, a 10-barrel iteration, and reportedly shot over 3,000 rounds in just over 3 minutes. So 1,000 rounds a minute. And this is in the black powder era when stuff was dirty. That was a very respectable feat. This Gardner here, couldn't quite get to those numbers, but this thing could still put down some serious firepower, even as a single barrel iteration. It uses a gravity-fed magazine as well, a single stack column on this one, a hand crank, similar to a Gatling gun from an outside user's perspective. And then the Gatling over there, that's chambered in 45-70. It's sitting on a nice mount that uses a hand crank as well. It has 2 sights, one for 405 grain and one for 500 grain. So the Gardner gun and the Nordenfeldt were manufactured and used right in the same time period. The British Royal Navy used all 3 styles of guns. They used Gatling guns, the models that predated that. They had Gardners, they had Nordenfeldts, all in Royal Navy service around the same time. There were militaries using stuff like the Montany. If some of you watched our previous auctions, there was a Montany multi-barrel volley gun, similar to the idea of this Nordenfeldt. There was some really wacky stuff going on at this time in the early era of machine guns. Now, these are not machine guns that we think of in the modern day. A lot of these are manually crank operated. This is before the modern machine guns. The Maxim came into play when smokeless era came around in the 1880s. And once the Maxim was presented to all of these different countries across the world, a lot of these types of early volley guns and Gardner guns got set to the side, and the Maxim was the new game in town. So a lot of these got scrapped, they got tossed, and that's another reason why there are so few of them left today. The Maxim was in play all the way through World War I and on by all militaries across the world, and then the Browning machine guns later. But these are the genesis. These are kind of the beginnings of the modern day machine gun. The idea of having the ability to put down some serious heavy firepower in a repeated capability with a high rate. It's crazy to say that these are just a small selection of the massive, rare selection of firearms we have in our upcoming December inaugural premiere auction in Bedford, Texas, here at Rock Island Auction Company. We hope to see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Show up to our premiere. Come in the presence of these weapons, view them, possibly bid on them. We will see you there.